Coming up on AI Haven't a Clue.
You know, this is how people get brainwashed.
Llama 4.
Yeah. I mean, all these AIs have got kind of interesting names.
To make them sound less scary.
Right? It's actually algorithms are programming your behavior.
It's a real ethical dilemma.
We built AI for a specific purpose, and this has never been done.
Well, hello and welcome to AI Haven't a Clue. It's the new show where one of us knows his neural networks from his elbow.
And the other one thinks ChatGPT is a type of printer ink.
It is. Is it not? Hi, I'm George, your highly average human, trying to make sense of this newfound world of AI.
And I'm James, your resident AI expert and fanatic here to translate all the jargon.
Yeah, and each week we're going to break down the latest in artificial intelligence, chat to some awe-inspiring experts, answer your questions, and we're just going to be talking about the tech that's taken over everything from art to your nan's Alexa.
Should we get on with it?
Yeah, let's do it. Did I say neural networks right, James? I don't think I did. Welcome to our new pod. This is exciting, isn't it? And we are here to break down this world of AI that is constantly in our news feeds, taking up column inches. And frankly, I don't know about you listening, but I am kind of confused about it. I understand that it's taking over the world. I don't understand why and how. Thankfully, James does. And we're here to look at this topic of AI from both sides of the fence.
I'm just in it for the weirdness. We're going to talk about some amazing stuff, some very positive things, some things you might raise your eyebrow. I'm here for the weird, if I'm honest. I think we're going to hear loads of that.
Well, the good, the bad, and the ugly is going to be on this podcast. We're going to chat to experts. We're going to chat to innovators. We're going to chat to the disruptors and the people who also are scared and, unsure about what AI might be doing to our planet and what it means for our future. And we are so excited to welcome an incredible guest who was a CNN war zone correspondent and is now using AI to do good in media. We are chatting to Muhammad Lila from Goodable later on. Really excited for that. So there's lots to cover. The way we're going to do it in every episode, we're going to have some news stories. We're going to look at what's happening in the world of AI. We're going to take on questions from anyone listening, and we would love to hear from you if you have a question about AI.
Don't forget the challenge.
How could I forget the challenge? The AI challenge.
So if we've got time, we're going to do the challenge.
We're going to go face to face. We're going to compete against each other. I mean, the pressure kind of is on you, James, as the expert. I'm feeling like the underdog here. I'm the non-league team in the FA Cup third round going against Manchester United. But for now, let's jump into this week's news from the world of AI. Let's start with OpenAI. Am I right in saying, James, they are the people who own and run ChatGPT?
That's how most people know them.
Okay, I got that one right. That's good. So they've been addressing some concerns over sycophantic behaviour after a recent update made to ChatGPT. What's going on?
The user of ChatGPT was saying that it was becoming overly enthusiastic and complimentary, and it was making some people feel a little bit uncomfortable. They think they made a big change. So there's a new update, GPT 4.0 or 4.0. Well, Sam Altman, the CEO, described it as a bit of butt kissing going on. So they're in with the pipes, working it back so it's not going to be as flattering and as agreeable with you.
Right, so talk me through this. So I'm using ChatGPT. I am putting something in there. Why is it being so nice, and why is it being creepy? Tell me.
Well, one, you might be being very nice to it, so it's kind of reflecting your behaviour. It might also be doing that thing where it's sort of reaffirming what you think or your worldview on things. And I found this out through, like many people, ran the London Marathon. I was sort of asking it for lots of training tips, and everything I was saying was right, and it was like really hyping me up. It was like my sort of hype thing. So, probably get rid of coaches and that sort of stuff. But in reality, it wasn't very objective with me. It was kind of telling me I was amazing and doing these things. What would be more interesting if I ask it to, it could be a bit more objective, or you should do more of this or less of this, or don't forget to prep about that.
I suppose it can be quite dangerous. I mean, I saw there was an example where somebody was talking about coming off some of the medication that they've been on and saying, was that a good idea? And ChatGPT was coming back with a really positive statement about, yeah, great, go for it. That's where I guess it becomes dangerous. And I suppose we do have to remember that we can't take this as wholly. Like,
for sure.
everything ChatGPT says to us we need to take with a pinch of salt, right?
Professionals exist in the world for a reason, and they're very specifically trained. They've done it for a long time. It's not a replacement for your doctor or your lawyer or a therapist, and you shouldn't treat it as such.
Interestingly, how long will it take for ChatGPT, OpenAI to change this? Or are we going to be like, is this sycophantic behavior going to continue for a while?
I mean, I think these things move pretty quickly. The CEO, Sam Altman, as I said, he's acknowledged it's a problem. They're starting to roll out the changes as we speak, so you can expect it to change pretty quickly.
Let's stay on OpenAI. Let's stay with ChatGPT. They are trying to worm in on the world of product purchasing.
You're seeing these tailored product suggestions. So they give you personalized recommendations based on your preferences and reviews. So it's there's no ads at the moment. So it's not like Google Shopping. The results that you get, they're not sponsored. They're not paid for. They're available to everyone. You don't need a login or a subscription. But it's kind of interesting how it's starting to shift. And what you're seeing, not just with ChatGPT, but with a lot of AIs, is it's a real alternative to how we find products online at the moment.
How is it different? How is using ChatGPT to find and buy a product different to using Google?
Well, I guess in the old world of Google search, you could, as a brand or a product, you could pay to be a listing. So there was a sort of a relevancy thing. If I'm searching for toothpaste, then toothpaste brands could pay to kind of rank, and the more you pay, the higher you are, the more relevant you are. It's sort of slightly different with AI because it's not based, as they say, it's not based on ads. You've not got like this ranking and auction going on. It's trying to find something that's kind of most relevant to you. Of course, what it is going to start is this kind of arms race of sorts, though, because probably the first thing you see or you get recommended, you're more likely to buy. So how they work out that mechanic is going to be really interesting.
Also, if I was a brand, I would want to try and hack this system and find a way to have my product recommended above others, because it is like a personal recommendation. So I'm assuming if you're a marketer right now at a product, you're like racing in there to try and find out how to beat this system. Yeah,
it feels like we're going to move at ChatGPT's pace on this. I mean, I think they're really going to be pretty careful how they weigh it out. I think when you look at search today and you look at search in 2-3 years' time, it's going to look entirely different. They're going to go from search engines to, I heard someone say that they're going to be like answer engines, just give you the answers they want rather than you having to learn how to do searches properly to get it. You'll just kind of give it a prompt. It will give you some recommendations. You'll go and buy it.
So, let's say I'm looking for a new toothbrush.
Yeah.
Right now, new toothbrush, pop it into Google. Maybe Amazon comes up, Boots comes up, whatever. I look at the reviews. I see the one I want. What's on offer? What's the best deal?
Yeah.
The way this is going to change then is that I'm going to say, I would like a toothbrush for a £50 price, which is discounted, and dentists recommend it. And they're just going to go, here's your product from this store.
One click or tap and you're going to buy it. So it takes out all of that work that you would have done before. So the really important thing here is how brands think about brand discovery. So if you're not spending any money on getting people to know about your brand, it's not going to appear there. So it's a really interesting shift for advertisers as well, and how they're going to think about search.
And is there a danger that money and advertising comes into this? You then have basically this thing that's supposed to be an organic recommendation becoming a paid for ad, when inevitably, ChatGPT is a business. It's going to want to make some money. It might be sold to a big company who wants it to make lots and lots of money. Is there a danger when money and advertising comes into this that it becomes quite dangerous for the consumer?
I think how you flag it and how you signpost this stuff is going to be critical. So if you go into Google now and you look at the called traditional ads in inverted commas, that it's an ad from Google. It's got a little thing in the top right-hand corner. It tells you where the ads are. You'll have to have some similar signposting here. What's kind of organic and what might have been paid for by someone. Don't know how that's going to look. It's new, but some signposting is going to be really important for people.
Right, James, Meta. Obviously, they are the owners of Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. Am I missing anything? Got it all?
Facebook's the big one, I guess.
The big one. So Meta AI, they've launched something new. What's going on there?
So you've now got a standalone assistant that's going to give you more personalised conversational experiences. So you're going to start to see this you might have started to see it in WhatsApp already. So you can ask AI, you can start to do things like that. It's Meta's Llama 4 model. It's going to give you really tailored responses.
Llama 4.
Yeah. I mean, all these AIs have got kind of interesting names.
To make them sound less scary.
Llama is Meta's one. Crucially, it will not only be conversational and give you tailored responses, it will remember you and what you told it. So every time you give the AI a bit more about you, the answers kind of get better and more tailored.
How is this different to any other AI? Is it different, or is it just Meta trying to stamp their, territory?
Well, I think obviously it's a strategic move for Meta. They're a huge tech business. They've got millions and millions of users. So they want to position their AI assistant as something that's integrated and personalized into everything they've got, rather than being something that's separate. And, they want to lead as much as OpenAI want to lead, as much as Grok want to lead with Elon and X. And it's a pretty competitive landscape. The emphasis for Meta, though, will, of course, be trying to make AI a really socially rounded experience rather than a standalone one.
So there's two things that I thought were interesting here. Firstly, they're going to try and make kind of an AI ecosystem with lots of people interacting within it. I don't really know what that means. It sounds nice in a news story, though.
Well, the ecosystem, I guess it's all of the apps you were talking about at the start, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, don't forget Messenger. And the really interesting bit for me is how you'll see it as a kind of a companion app for their smart glasses. So Ray-Ban partnered with Meta to make these incredible smart glasses. How it appears in there is going to be fascinating. So yeah, across everything that kind of Meta own.
Like smart glasses, like last year or 2 years ago, everyone was banging on about them, like they were going to change the world, like we were all going to walk around wearing smart glasses. People don't talk about them anymore. What's happened to smart glasses?
Well, the potted history is you had Google Glass, which is like really, really old, far too soon. It had a little red light which would blink at you, telling you it was on. That creeped people out. So that was ahead of its time. Snap spectacles came, if you remember, but they looked a bit more like glasses. They were pretty cool. Still a little bit clunky, only worked within Snap. And as we've gone, these things are developed. I can see a horizon, maybe sort of 2-3 years where these things will be commonplace. I mean, they look integrated into like Ray-Bans that you would normally wear, but with all the kind of the smart features you've got. And now, as we're seeing in the news, AI integrated too.
I tried the Apple ones.
Oh, like the Vision Pro,
Vision
like the big
Pro.
headset one. Yeah, I mean, that's full on.
I mean, it was kind of fun, but like there was like a massive pack that had to like...
You're not walking
around with that, are
Vision
you?
Pro.
And it also, they were like ski goggles. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not there yet, is it? But I guess it was interesting
I
seeing
think there's a new segment. We just get George to test all of these tech and wearables
honestly.
and stuff, and
Like-
what level is he freaked out?
like getting your grand to do it. Okay, James, final story for this edition. This is amazing and terrifying, and it's a lot, but let's get into it. AI caught a really horrible criminal who has just been jailed for 46 years after being on the run for more than 27 years. AI has tracked this man down. He's now in jail. How has this happened? What's the story here?
13 years ago, there was a massive national TV appeal to find this guy. The guy's called Richard Burrows. No one really knew how to get hold of this guy. One officer had an idea of using a website to try and search for him, but it was any member of the public can subscribe to it. It wasn't like a specialist thing for police. It's a piece of technology called PIM Eyes, and it uses AI facial recognition technology to basically crawl the entire web and look for similar photos. So what did they do? They uploaded a photo of this Richard Burrows guy. It was his mugshot from 1997.
1997?
Yeah, from all the way back. So, not the sort of quality we're used to now. Uploaded it into PIM Eyes. It found multiple photos of this guy, even though he'd aged since
Yeah, like
1997.
30 years pretty much.
The key one, the kind of the smoking gun, they found him at his retirement party back in 2019, and there was this little pimple on his neck, which kind of gave the match. I mean, incredible. And obviously they tracked him. He was in Phuket in Thailand. He'd even changed his name, but the AI was that good, and the pimple was that much of a giveaway. Yeah, they found him at this party and were able to track him down.
So PIM Eyes, this is the technology.
Yeah, pretty obscure. It launched in Poland 8 years ago. Interpol, there's been Crime Watch appeals. I mean, they haven't been able to kind of undo this for years and years. Clearly, it's very, very popular with police. The watch out is, of course, the sort of civil liberty campaigners, privacy campaigners. they're concerned of kind of overreach by the police here, actually asking for it to be banned and similar sites not to be used either.
This is where it's like an ethics question. It's like being back in school, isn't it? Because it's like you've caught this monster. It's a great thing. But then, yeah, there is kind of scrutiny on the police right now about, you know, blocking access to this website. There's questions about, is it like taking the Big Brother state to the next level? I guess right now we're at a point in this technology where we don't know where we sit. We don't know which side of the fence society is going to fall and the law is going to fall.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time, isn't it?
Well, I think it's often the case with technology, particularly as fast-paced as things like AI. Things like regulation just won't keep pace with how good this stuff gets and how quickly people use it. We should say the Met Police have said that they've blocked all access to PIM-Eyes on its official devices, although they do still have access to other similar in-house facial recognition systems. I think it's going to be one to watch.
Are we going to a place where there are going to be laws put in about what you can do with AI, restrictions, even at the level of policing and intelligence? Yeah. Or is this going to change the way we operate so entirely that you will never be able to hide?
These things always go down two routes. One is a sort of a self-regulation thing where we kind of trust the industry and we trust the experts to get it right. It's moving at such a pace, and how comfortable are we with private companies deciding what's right and wrong? Or you go down a route where a government or a regulator comes in and says, look, here's the rules and here's the guidance around how you can use these things, and we're going to decide how we do it. The best case scenario is probably some sort of regulatory or government intervention that works really closely with industry and figures out the best way to use these things. But as I said, it is moving at pace, and regulation always really struggles to keep with pace with how things move.
Well, I'm sure we'll be talking
for sure
a lot more about this kind of stuff throughout the series. But that is what's happening this week in the ever-moving world of AI. And it's now part of the podcast where you send us your AI questions and we do our best not to panic.
You say we. Well, I'm trying not to panic, and I'm going to try desperately to answer them as well.
Yeah, that would be a better plan, James. Right, Harriet has asked this. My 10-year-old is using ChatGPT to do his homework without me knowing, but got an A. Is there well done. Is there a way, an A's an A, is there a way for people to identify what's been written by AI? James, can you cheat? Can you do AI? Can you do your homework? Can I write your emails for you? Or will you be caught?
Well, it's two answers. Yes, it can do all of those things. And yes, I guess you can be caught. I mean, a really simple thing is there are tools now where you could copy and paste that homework, and the tool would give you a percentage as to how much has been created by AI. So you get a really definite thing. And some academic institutions, universities are kind of doing this. This is table stakes now to make sure that the stuff that's being submitted isn't created by AI. There's also particularly younger generations are getting really good at the kind of the AI tells. I mean, you'll start to see it. I mean, my LinkedIn feed is full of AI emoji bullet lists and the commas in the right place.
Oxford comma.
The Oxford comma is the giveaway.
Oxford comma, isn't it?
So we're actually getting quite savvy to what looks like AI now. So whether it's homework or it's emails or whatever it might be. So I think as we tune into that, the AI will also get smarter. It will write a bit more like me. But in short, yeah, you can kind of do the reverse AI. If you're submitting homework, we could put it in and it will tell us how much has been written by you and how much is by AI. So you can't AI to do it and go in and make a spelling mistake. It doesn't really work like that. So yeah, well done on your A, but yeah, all the best next time. At
university, they might be running it through systems, but your year 6 geography homework, I feel like you might get away with it for a little bit, but not that we're advocating that. If you've got a burning question, a curious idea, or just want to see if James can explain quantum computing in under a minute, do email us at aihaeventaclue@gmail.com.
And no promises on the quantum bit.
And now, whilst I, of course, love hearing from our resident expert, James, we also want to bring you guests from across the world of AI, whether that is experts, inventors, or even those who actually don't agree with what AI is doing.
And today's guest is someone who swapped war zones for wellness and is now using AI to rewire the way we all consume news.
Muhammad Lila is a former CNN and ABC war correspondent who's faced down the Taliban, gunfire and militia groups and lived to tell the tale. But after years of reporting the world's darkest headlines, he asked a radical question. What if the news actually made us feel better?
And that question led him to found Goodable, an AI-powered news platform dedicated to delivering good news that actually improves your mental health. Muhammad's here to talk about how AI can literally make us happier, why positivity is a powerful business model, and how we might be able to change the world, one uplifting story at a time. Muhammad, give us a bit of context before we get into the detail. Tell us about that first chapter of your career in journalism. And you were covering massive global stories. You talked to world leaders. Just paint the picture for us.
Yeah, so I spent most of my life covering war zones. I didn't put up my hand and say, please send me to war zones. It just happened where when you're working for major news networks, wars and conflicts tend to be something that they cover a lot. So I averaged more than 100 flights a year. I led teams into some of the most dangerous places on the planet. I can't count, actually, I've lost count of how many times I've led missions to Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Ukraine, Gaza. It got to a point where I was on the road so much that I actually had to look out the window to remember what city I was in.
Wow.
Because I would just forget. But everyone from ISIS to the Taliban to the Russians have tried to kill me at various points. And I don't say that because I'm reckless. I say that because in my line of work, when bad people are targeting you, usually means you're doing something right. And I survived all of those situations, and I'm very grateful, first of all, to be alive. But secondly, I'm just grateful that I was able to serve journalism in that way, where I was able to show people what was going on in the world. And I think what I'm doing now with Goodable is actually an extension of that. I'm showing people what's going on in the world. And it's actually the truest calling in journalism, because journalism is supposed to show people what the world is really like. But it's become so skewed that it's only showing people negative things. And that's not who we are as human beings. We have the capacity for great evil, but we also have the capacity to do amazing things in the world. And when you're looking at a mirror and you're seeing a monster, you're going to believe that you're a monster. And my whole point is, well, we should look in the mirror. Yes, there's an aspect of us that's monstrous, but there's another aspect of us that's beautiful. And we need to see both. And right now we're not. And I think that's how I would explain the transition from hardcore war zone reporting, embedded with the U.S. military, embedded with drone strikes coming down, all of that stuff, into what we're doing now, which is ironically saving lives. Like I was reporting people whose lives were being lost. And today my work helps save lives. And I think it's just such a great pivot, but it's the best feeling in the world.
I'm so fascinated by Goodable, and the purpose of this podcast is to explore the world of AI, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're going to kind of come on to that in a little bit. And I just wanted to start with a bit of context on your career, because I mean you've interviewed some incredible people, some inspiring people, some world leaders. Could you name a few just for the context of what's to come?
Yeah, of course. The most memorable interview I've ever done was with His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Wow.
He doesn't interview just any regular journalist, and it wasn't an easy interview for me. I was trying for several months through his assistant. It's old-fashioned journalism. You find out who the right person is, you connect with them, build a relationship until they say yes. And I was trying to get this interview for such a long time, and I literally got a phone call on I guess it must have been a Wednesday or a Thursday from his assistant, and he says, His Holiness would like to meet you. And I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be a couple of months down the road when he's in New York or something. And he goes, no, he has a cancellation this weekend. Can you make it? And so he lives in a place called Dharamsala, which is kind of in a rural mountainous area of India. And so this was Wednesday or Thursday, and he said, can you make it on a Saturday? And I went to go check to book the flights. And as it happened, the only airline that was flying into Dharamsala had declared bankruptcy that day. Yeah. So they went from having like 5 flights a day to having 0. And so I'm looking at the schedule. I have to get my assignment desk and my network to buy into this. And remember, getting the Dalai Lama is a major interview. And I wasn't a New York or a London-based anchor at the time. that's the interview that all of those anchors want. And so here's the young upstart getting this interview. So I have to get the network to agree to it, to let me go. They did, grudgingly. And then I have to figure out how to get there. And so we landed in Delhi. I think it was on a Friday morning or Friday afternoon, and we drove 10 hours to Dharamsala. And so we get there at night. I'm exhausted. And the next morning, I'm meeting His Holiness. I had no time to prepare. It's such a weird, strange feeling knowing you're going to interview somebody who's that important, somebody that I personally look up to and respect. It's not like a criminal you're interviewing or an interrogation. This is somebody who genuinely is a force for good in the world. And I wish I could tell you I remember what he said. During the interview, I don't remember a single thing that he told me. I remember what he told me afterwards.
Wow.
So he's very hospitable, very gracious, charming, funny, all of those things. And at the end, he's looking, he turns to his assistant and he says something. And he gave us the interview in his home, which he normally doesn't do, which was a sign of respect, I think. And so afterwards, his assistant came to me and he said, His Holiness thinks the work you're doing is very important, and he thinks you're going to have a big impact on the world. And I had no idea what he was talking about. Like, I'm just reporting from war zones. That's not really changing anything. And it was only after I launched Goodable that I went back and I thought about what he said. And now I tend to think maybe he saw something in me that I didn't, or maybe he knew what path my career was on, and it was going to lead me to this, because I kind of feel like now that's what I'm doing. I'm doing something that's changing the world, and maybe he saw that when I didn't.
It's so remarkable, this story, and I think one of the reasons is, you were clearly at the top of your game from a journalistic point of view, and you decided that's not the way that you wanted news to be reported, right? You walked away from that world into what you're now doing at Goodable. Why did you make that pivot?
People thought I was crazy. Like, look, when you're on CNN is the biggest television network, like news network in the world. And I was reporting live on CNN. I 1 month at CNN, I did 226 live shots in a single month. Like, I was on air all the time. And I had started seeing numbers showing that audiences wanted positive content and nobody was giving it to them. So I knew there was a business opportunity. But more than anything else, I had become the person who came on television to show people how bad the world was. So when I was assigned, usually you get on a plane and you go to a different country. That's my assignment. And I keep track of every airport I've ever flown into. It's like my CV, it's my resume. Here are all the stories that I've covered. And every single airport that I flew into is because something bad had happened. A terror attack, a flood, some crazy Trump announcement, famine, war, you name it. And I said, this can't be right. Well, aren't there good things that are happening? And so, I guess, why did I do it? I had a choice to make, that I could show people how bad the world is, or I could spend the rest of my life showing people how good the world can be. And I chose goodness. And I believe in my heart that when you put good into the world, it comes back to you somehow. And so I was naive and I said, I'm just going to do this and see what happens. And it really grew into something much, much bigger than we ever thought it could be.
So it sounds like you had this epiphany that, news needed to be fixed. You wanted to do the good, not the bad. Where does the AI bit come into it?
Because we didn't have money to build a new CNN. So when I left, I wanted to build a new CNN. Like, I genuinely thought that we could build a news network that only covers good news. And about 2 weeks later, I realized I didn't have $1 billion. So we trained our AI to identify all of the good things happening in the world. And the way that we do it is we scan tens of thousands of news feeds every day. And our AI has been trained to tell us if that news is positive or negative. We take it a step further, and we can actually tell you if the way that content is written is healthy for you to consume. And this has never been done. And so we took that AI, and once we started applying it, I would wake up every morning with 50 of the best stories happening in the world right now. And that meant I didn't need a big editorial meeting at 10 a.m. because AI solved that problem for us. And that's why we built it. We built it out of necessity because we just didn't have the money to to hire all these people. And we built it as a tool for ourselves.
Would you not say, I mean, at the moment we are seeing, I think, the world kind of waking up a bit more to what social media can do to us and some of the negative societal impacts it's having. This sounds, like one of the answers. This sounds like one of the, the many, amongst many other ways in which we can bring positivity. We're not throwing our phones away, right? That's not happening. But we need to find a way that we can use our phones positively, and we need things like this, right? We need things like this to help have a healthier relationship with tech. Is that part of the plan and part of the strategy with Goodable?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I say absolutely yes, but probably not for the reason that you're thinking. So I think from the outside, people look at us and they see a media company. And I understand why they see that, but that's not who we are. We actually consider ourselves more of a behavioral change platform, much more similar to like Calm or Headspace than to like a media company. To your point, there's tremendous data showing a direct correlation between the amount of time we spend looking at screens and the state of our mental health. Like the evidence is rock solid. The more you spend looking at your phone or your screen, your mental health will be worse. And it actually gets worse the younger that you go. So today's generation that's say between 15 and 20 years old, their mental health baseline will be lower than any generation in history. They have record numbers of depression, anxiety, suicidal ideations that no other age group has ever had in history before. And coincidentally, they're the ones that spend the most time looking at screens. Now, the truth is, if you just think, is a good mental experiment, if you just think on any given day, how many times do you see a screen? It's dozens. You see a screen when you're on the tube. You see a screen when you're in an elevator, when you're in your office. If you're driving in your car, there's screens on the side of the road. There's screens everywhere. And we like to think that we consume content that we choose to consume. But the truth is we have no choice. We have no agency. So even when you're scrolling through YouTube, you have the belief that you click a video because that's what you chose to see. But the fact that that video was on your screen in the first place is because an algorithm decided to serve that content to you. So everything that we experience online comes to us through algorithms. Even your email comes to you through an algorithm. It can rank which emails you should respond to first. On Gmail, if you haven't replied in a certain number of days, the algorithm pushes it up to the top. And so algorithms are actually controlling everything that we see and we experience online. And we sat back and we said, okay, well, these algorithms are incredibly bad for your mental health. They're actually destroying your mind. And if algorithmic news feeds can cause depression, why can't we harness that same power to cure depression? And everybody knows they cause depression. Look, in the United States, unfortunately, they have mass shootings almost every week. And once in a while, the mass shooter is captured alive. And they always ask the mass shooter, why did you do it? And the number one reason they always give is because I saw something on my newsfeed that told me something bad was happening and I needed to stop it. So I was brainwashed to believe that, this group was bad. Immigrants were bad. Refugees were bad. LGBT was bad. Muslims were bad. Jews were bad, whatever the case is. And it's because they were programmed to believe that from the algorithms that were feeding them that content. So we said, look, if you can pick up a weapon and kill somebody, why can't you pick up something and save somebody? Why can't algorithms do the same thing? And so we operate on the algorithmic level, like the AI algorithmic level. It's not about the content for us. It's about the algorithms that surface that wholesome content. And that's why I think we're part of the solution. It's not because, people see us as a positive media company and we make people smile. It's because if we can make a dent, the destruction that these algorithms are causing us, that's how we'll change the world. And that's what we're focusing on.
And you touched upon it earlier, and I'm really fascinated by this because it does feel that, our society, let alone media, is driven by the algorithm right now. And we are in these echo chambers where you are served what the algorithms think you should be served, and et cetera, rolls into each other. Now, I kind of feel like it's made our, society quite individualistic. What impact will AI have on that? Will it dig down further, or will it actually help us take that step back to kind of have these more broader societal moments again?
I wish I could say I was optimistic, but if you think of AI as a tool that, you know, all these platforms will use, what's the end goal of these platforms? It's to make money, right? And they do it in different ways. They do it through engagement, clickbait, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they exist to make money. And so they will apply AI in whatever ways they consider best in order to drive their bottom line revenue. And as long as that's the case, they are not incentivized to get people to show balanced opinions or different perspectives or become calmer, happier, productive. They're not incentivized for that. They're incentivized to get people coming back and get them addicted. And so I'm not optimistic on the big picture. What I don't know is, I think all the big platforms are realizing now that they've made mistakes, that they've gone too far down that rabbit hole, right? Like I don't know if I get this sometimes. I don't know if you get this. I can't imagine I'm the only one. Sometimes I'll get a random thought in my mind, right? Where I'll go on YouTube and I might just want to see, like, what's the world's biggest ever rhinoceros? And I'll just Google something random.
I mean, just describing my commute home every day.
Mine's just old X Factor audition clips, but that's fine.
I can't comment. I can't comment. But let's say you put that in as a search term, right? The next 1 out of every 5 videos that you're going to get for the next week are going to be about rhinoceros, right? Yeah. And it's because the algorithm thinks that that's what you are interested in. And it's very dangerous because, like, you know, this is how people get brainwashed, right? It's actually, algorithms are programming your behavior. And I wish people realize that algorithms actually program how we behave as citizens and as part of society. It's tough to break out from that, but I think what will make a difference is, as these platforms realize they can make more money by making people happy, they'll start shifting towards that.
Let me ask the sort of same question differently, because you seem a sort of a glass half full kind of guy. You know, you've made a transition to come away from something that you said was kind of doing bad, do something good. What gives you hope? What keeps you optimistic about the future of AI and news in particular?
That's a really good question. And I haven't been asked this question in a very long time. I think on a macro level, it's the choice that it gives people. I think the choice is really important. Like, we should have agency. We should be able to choose what we see. We should be able to have when even in a practical level, like when we think of Goodable, one of the things we'd love to do, we have a partnership with Yahoo actually, and they're really excited about partnering with us, and we are with them. And not just for Yahoo, but like anybody, you know, you should be able to have like a control on your desktop that says, hey, you know what? I'm in a really bad mood today. So I need to set my happiness rating to like 90. So give me content that's going to make me 90% happy today. And eventually AI will know what mood you're in. We're very close to that almost anyways, right? So the moment you look at anything online, it will know what mood you're in, and it will feed you something designed to adapt and improve your health and your mental health and your mind and even your body. And so I think that's kind of exciting, the ability of technology to do that. And just, you know, sometimes all it takes to change someone's life is something really small. Just walking by somebody and saying, hey, you know what? Everything's going to be okay. Like, you'd be surprised if someone's suicidal, the number one thing that first responders say is, hey, we get it. Life is hard, but don't worry. Today's going to be okay. Worry about tomorrow later, but at least we can make today okay. And I think that's enough, right? And so I have hope that not everybody, but a lot of people just want to do good in the world. And that gives me hope.
Nice.
I mean, Muhammad, it's been such a pleasure chatting to you for so many reasons. One of which is that you just encapsulate what this podcast is all about, you know, looking at a topic from every single angle. And, you know, it's been really interesting hearing your thoughts on I guess the kind of the negative side of social media and journalism right now, but also the positivity and hope that comes from what you're doing, and equally the way that you're using AI in a really refreshing way, in a positive way, in a way that is impacting people's lives in a really positive way. And it's amazing what you're doing at Goodable. 40 million people, over 40 million people encountering it each month. And, you know, you're young and you're growing, and spreading positivity in this space is so important for all of the reasons we've been discussing with you. Do tell us what's coming next. What do we need to look out for? What's exciting? Where else can we find Goodable? Fill us all in, please, before we say goodbye.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the feedback. You know, whenever you build something new, it's very hard, and you think about giving up so many times. And the reason we didn't give up was because of feedback like yours. People just saying nice things. Like, it really gives us the fuel to keep going. And if anybody's out there listening or watching and they want to join us on this mission, a couple of ways. One is we have our app, which is just like Google News or Facebook News, but it's only good things. You can find it at goodable.app. Just type it in on your phone. It's going to open up the App Store and you can download the app. That's the first way. The second way, actually, that people interact with us is we serve as an AI infrastructure level to customers like Yahoo. And what that means is that you can go on Yahoo and there's now a dedicated module that says powered by Goodable that will show you only good things. Yeah.
Nice.
And so that's sort of the other way that we're growing. And our hope is actually that we can turn any screen that you look at into a tool that makes you happier. Literally any screen. And the app is something that listeners can do to help us, but getting on these other screens, that's our job as a company. And we're really working hard to achieve that. And we love working with brands who want to make a difference in the world, and companies. And so we've turned down partnerships from like some mining companies, for example, or people that would be hard to partner with. But anybody that wants to make a difference in the world, we hope to make a home for you at Goodable somehow. So that's what I would say is the best way to support us.
Awesome.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Muhammad. Thank you so much.
A massive thank you to Muhammad Lila for joining us and reminding us that AI doesn't have to just be smart, it can also be kind.
And you can check out Goodable across socials or download the app when it drops. That's all we've got time for in AI Haven't a Clue this week.
If you enjoyed the episode, leave us a rating, share it, and comment. And remember, you can get in touch with us at aihaeventaclue@gmail.com.
Ask James as difficult questions as possible. We'll be back next time with more headlines, big questions, and the usual amount of confusion from me.
Until then, stay curious.